Hi everybody, it's Lorraine and welcome to my first Flosstube video. I'm going to try to remember to look at the camera and not look at myself, but it's gonna just be an adjustment, so please bear with me. I'm excited to be doing this. I have been watching Flosstube and been a part of the Flosstube community, I have felt like, for a while now. I don't know if it's been a year, but it's been a long time. And I can already tell I'm an ummer. I'm sorry. I will try not to so much, but that really takes some thought. But I will try. I was first introduced to Flosstube by some girls. I think there were some girls in my cross-stitch guild that told me about Flosstube. And I'm not sure exactly how I found the first Flosstuber, if I just typed in Flosstube or if someone had recommended a particular one. But I think the first one that I watched was maybe Suzette with the Primitive Stitcher, or it was maybe Natasha B. I can't remember which one of those two was first, but they were among the first. And after I watched the first Flosstube, I thought, this is fabulous. I'm pretty sure it may have been the Primitive Stitcher. And I loved it, and so I wanted to go back and watch from the first. So I watched the first video and the second, and I just binge watched till I watched all of those. And then I watched Natasha and watched all of hers and loved it. And I think at the time she was doing a stitch along for the First I Drink the Coffee, that series, and I wanted to be a part of that, so of course I got that stuff. And then I found Vonna. Oh my goodness, Vonna. Love Vonna. Watched, believe it or not, I went back and watched, I think, from the first of her Flosstubes, and she had quite a lot, but I just loved it. It was fabulous. It got me so excited about cross-stitching again, even though I was already excited about it. But you know what it's like when you watch all these women and you say, I want to do that and I want to do that. Well, that's the way I was. And I had I guess I started cross-stitching maybe early 80s. I don't really have a whole lot from that period. Most of the things I stitched back then I gave away. And I stitched a lot. I can remember I even cross-stitched a tablecloth. Big things. I like doing big things, but I don't have much of that, if anything, from that period of time still. But I did it, and it was fun. And then I got busy raising children and didn't do a lot of crafting for many years. As a matter of fact, I boxed a lot of stuff up and just put it away. And finally got my kids grown and in college, and I thought, you know, it's time to bring that stuff out. I enjoy it. It's time to do some stuff that I enjoy again. So I drug it out and started, actually started working part-time at a quilt shop. I love it. That's actually the reason for my name. My husband came up with that name. He thought that would be fitting because I like to quilt. I like to do a lot of handwork. So the rags for the quilting and the stitches for the cross stitching and embroidery and English paper piecing and all that. So Rags to Stitches, but that Rags to Stitches name had already been taken by, it looks like maybe a quilt shop in the UK. But I love the name so much, and I love the fact that he chose that name. He came up with that name for me without knowing that there was another shop. And so I really wanted to use that name, and that's what I've been using for my Instagram name for a while, is Rags to Stitches USA. I couldn't use the Rags to Stitches because someone else already had it, but I put the USA there so that it distinguishes me from the UK one, and I'm very patriotic. I love our country. I have a son and a son-in-law that's in the military. So they just don't come much more patriotic than me. So I love the fact that that's in my name as well. So anyway, started working at a quilt shop a couple of years ago. I love the people. I love the customers. I love being around the fabric. And we have a little cross-stitch area in the shop. So it just, it makes me happy to be there. It makes me happy to be around the customers. We have great people that come through. So I started working there. I got involved in a quilt guild, sampler guild, not a quilt guild, a sampler guild, sampler cross-stitch guild there. And just have been having the best time. So a couple of the girls in the sampler guild and I have become good friends, and we actually went on a trip this past weekend to the Needlework Galleria in St. Charles, Missouri. So much fun. And I know you know these girls, D Squared, Debbie and Donna. I mean, they're rock stars, right? They just put out a video. And that is the whole reason for me doing my video this morning. My sons have been trying to get me to make a video for a while now, and I've just been saying, yeah, no, that's not, I'd like to, but, you know, I want to wait till, you know, I have a good place to record. I need to paint that room, or wait till, you know, I'm having a good hair day, which I'm not, or wait until I lose 20 pounds, which I haven't, or, you know, there's always a wait until, and that day never did come. But then last night, I was watching Debbie and Donna's video, and they said something that I just felt like I needed to address. So this morning, I just decided, you know what, I'm going to make a video, and I'm going to address that right now. So this is not, my video is not going to be very well planned out. I always thought I would have it nice and scripted and planned out, but it's not. But after I saw their video last night, I just had to say, if y'all have seen their latest video, they talk about the cross-stitch gallery and what fun we had. And they, Debbie had bought a bag, and it had crows on this bag. She bought it from So Much to Love. I love that lady, Karen. I love you. She had bought this bag, and as she says in the video, I was happily stitching along, minding my own business. And Debbie and Donna were talking about this bag that she had purchased. And they were talking about it having old crows. And I'm not really processing everything in my mind that they're saying. I'm hearing part of it, but I'm trying to stitch. And I've messed it up royally during all of this. And I'm trying to figure out where I've messed it up. And I have decided I'm having to frog it, and so I'm pretty frustrated. And so they're talking along, and then I hear, isn't that right, Lorraine? And I look up and I said, what, I'm sorry, I just heard something about an old bag. Well, Debbie took that and she ran with it. She was like, that's one. I had no idea what I'd done. But then they started talking about it, and I realized that I had just stepped right in it, and it was funny, and I just let them run with it. But I want to make this public. I did not call Debbie an old bag. She is far from it. I love that girl. So anyway, if you hear them talking about that on their latest video, please know that I would never call Debbie an old bag. I love her, but it was funny. It was a hoot. And they were funny all weekend long. I just love them to death. So if you haven't watched their latest video, go do that. They do an excellent job of recapping what all went on at the Needlework Galleria, and it was great. Y'all should plan to do that next year. That was my first retreat like that with lots of vendors, and it was so much fun. I loved it. So I can't wait to go back myself. We're going to be, I don't know if I mentioned, but I do live in Georgia. There are a lot of Georgia stitchers around. We're going to be having a stitch in on the 16th of September in Canton, Georgia. at a library there, and I can't remember the name of the library, but there's probably just one library in Canton. If you're interested in going and don't know any of the details, you can message me and I can give you some details. Let's see. Well, one of the things the thing that I was stitching on at this retreat that I had messed up royally was the Summer Schoolhouse series by Brenda Gervais. And I don't know if I brought that in here with me or not. I probably didn't, but I'm sure y'all have seen it. It's all over Instagram and all over Flosstube. And I had been impatiently really, waiting on the mushroom Lugana to come in, like half of the United States has been. There's quite a few Marietta girls that are going to be stitching this together, and we've been waiting on the Lugana to come in. And finally, a sweet friend of mine gave me a piece of hers so that I could get started. Thank you, Ramona. I love you. And so I had taken this with me to get started. Girls, starting a piece at a retreat with a bunch of fun women in the room, it's probably not a good thing. I started this and well, I can go ahead and show you. Let's see if it'll show up. And I'm not sure if this is showing up right or if it's backwards. I guess I'll see when I watch my video. But I had started on this side and had stitched all the little spikes there on the roof and did a few rows, and then came on over here and started stitching this. And I got all this down here stitched and hopped back up and was stitching over here and was happily stitching along, and somehow I realized that I had messed something up over here. I don't even remember now what it was. But I think that's where I was when the whole Old Crow, Old Bag episode happened. And so I had to frog all of this back out. So I restitched all of this. Then I hopped back over here and I was stitching, and I'd gotten down to the windows and started stitching over here and realized I could only fit 2 windows in. I couldn't fit 3 windows in. What was the deal? Well, I had not left enough spaces between all these little points. So now I am frogging all of this so that I can restitch this. I would be halfway finished with this, y'all, if I hadn't had to frog so much. But anyway, it's okay. I enjoy the journey. I don't enjoy the frogging so much, but I do enjoy the journey. So I'm not one that has to have my project finished right away. I think I'm shaking the table, sorry. I used to be a one project at a time girl, always was until Flosstube, and then I saw all these things that y'all are doing, and it made me want to do all the things. And I have, oh my goodness, I've got a lot of stuff in my stash that needs to be stitched. So I thought, you know, why not start a few more? I didn't do Stitch Mania, but I decided I was going to go wild and start the 15 days leading up to my birthday, which was in July. I would have a new start every day for the 15 days leading up to my birthday. What better gift to give me than all these fun things to start? So I did, and had the best time. I loved it. Loved it. I had no idea how much work starting a project was, because I only started one at a time, and I guess you don't really notice how much work goes into starting a project until you have to start that many, and just getting all the floss pulled or bought, and choosing the right fabric, and then finding the place where you want to start it. Do I start it in the middle? Do I start it up in the corner? There's so much work involved in getting something started. So in those 15 days that I was starting each project, sometimes I would only get a couple of stitches in by the time I did all that. But it was a lot of fun. And now when I get ready to sit down and stitch, at least I've got things already kitted up, started, I know where I'm going, just pick it up and go. I do have, I'm not going to show you all of these because honestly this video has been, it was a very spur of the minute thing this morning. So I'm very ill prepared. But I've got a couple of things I can show you. One thing, let me see, that this is my oldest whip, and the girls in my Simpler Guild are probably sick of seeing this. But this I started you know, I'm not really sure when I started this. I'm going to say sometime between 2003, yeah, 2003 and 2006. And the reason I say that is because this was a car project. My children were young at the time, and we were going to baseball games and basketball games and soccer games and dance lessons and, you know, all the stuff. And so I kept a project in my car that I could just pick up and stitch on, get started stitching on quickly. So I wanted to do an all one color piece. So I started on this sometime between 2003 and 2006. And I know it was at least 2006 because I went ahead and graphed the date down at the bottom on the pattern. And I graphed 2006. Well, here we are in 17, and I'm not even halfway finished with this. But I've decided to take it away from the car. Well, I put it back for years. There may have been 8 or 9 years that I didn't stitch on it at all. But I did get it back out and started working on it. And so this is my journey piece for my sampler guild. And I am going to get at least half of this done by our meeting in September or October. I think we turn in our journey pieces, or we report on our journey pieces in October, maybe September. So maybe I need to just kick it in gear and have this done just in case. But this is, let's see if we can get it all in. That's as much as I have done on it. It's going to be a big piece. I don't know if y'all have, if you've ever watched Lori with Mischievous Stitches. She's been talking about my piece here. She saw this at one of our Georgia stitch-ins and she loved it, and she went out in search of and found this particular pattern. It's a Permanent of Copenhagen piece. So I do enjoy working on it. I love the fact that it's all one color, so that if I am at the doctor, I can just pull it up and just start stitching away, and I don't have to think, oh, was that X the red color or was the X the pink? I can just pick it up and start stitching. So I love that. And I'm actually going to miss it, I think, when I get finished with it. So I'll probably do another all one color piece when I finish this one. Lord willing, when I finish this one. And the reason that I say I know it was, it couldn't be any older than 2003 is because I had another sampler that I was doing that was all one color that I really enjoyed. My first one that I did like that was this one. And y'all, now that I go to talk about it, I don't remember the name of it. Someone on Facebook kindly told me what the name of this one was, because I've forgotten. I've long since lost the pattern for this, I'm sure. But this one was the first one that I did that was all one color. Uh-oh, we're going to have some, maybe not too bad of a reflection. But this one was a lot of fun. I love Adam and Eve samplers, and I thoroughly enjoyed working on this one. I loved all the little motifs. I felt like I had completed a project with each little motif that was finished. And I loved the Adam and Eve and the tree, and I love the fact that it was all in color. So anyway, I finished this one in 2003, and I know I started the blue one after that. So there's my reasoning behind my timeline guesses. One of my, you know, I don't even think this was one of my birthday starts. I think this was the start, even another start, even after my birthday mania. I started a little piece. My daughter just moved into her first, she got married last year, in July of last year. So they just had their first anniversary. They just moved out of their first apartment into a home, and I stitched this for her. This is Sweet Home by Blackbird Design. I thought that was really sweet. And I love the fact that it was all in color. So This was another one I had to do some frogging on. Y'all, I just must not pay attention. I get back busy talking and lose track of what I'm doing, and I wind up frogging. It has nothing to do with the design, nothing to do with the pattern. It's just me and I just don't pay attention sometimes. But anyway, that one was a lot of fun. Just finished that. I'm going to be, like everybody else, I'm going to be starting the, well, not everybody else, but a lot of people on Flosstube are going to be starting this as a stitch along starting Friday. And I've got all of my flosses together, but it just occurred to me, I'm not sure that I have my fabric, so I need to make sure that I have the fabric for that. I'm also doing a stitch along with the girls in Marietta. I'm doing Christmas at Hawk Run Hollow, but I'm not going to do mine as one big piece. I'm just doing, and I'm not even doing all of the months. I'm just doing the ones with the words, with the verses. So this is my little bitty start on that. Caroline made us all a little hawk needle minder to go along with it. I love it. Thank you, Caroline. So that's a stitch along that I'm doing. I'm doing a lot of stitch alongs. One of the things that I unearthed when I decided to start cross stitching again is a sampler that, here again, I don't know when I started it. It was a long time ago. I found this in a box, and I found the flosses with it, but I couldn't find the pattern. And I looked and looked and looked for a long time and couldn't find the pattern. So I did the only thing I knew to do, and I reached out to the Facebook community. I don't even think I was watching, maybe I was watching Flosstube at the time, but I didn't have a Flosstube video, so I didn't have that avenue to go down. So I reached out to someone on Facebook, and I made a picture of this sampler and said, I've started this sampler. I know it was a Lord's Prayer, but if you Google Lord's Prayer cross stitch, there's a bunch. I mean, a bunch of them out there. And I thought, I'll never find this pattern. So I put out an SOS, can somebody please tell me the name of this pattern? And this was the sampler that I showed. And I think that's the bottom of it. I'm hoping it is because I don't have much fabric left. So I think I had stitched all the way down to the bottom. And all the way over here, and look at this nice little stain. Isn't that lovely? I'm hoping that'll wash out. I have no idea what that is. It's been in a box for years and years and years and years and years. But I put this picture on Facebook, and the sweetest lady responded to me and told me the name of the chart, which was Sarah Monday. It's the Sarah Monday sampler, and by Threads of Gold. And I said, oh, thank you so much. Now I know where to go looking for it. And she sent me a message back, and she said, I have that chart. I'll be happy to loan it to you. Bless her heart. And so she sent that to me. This is the chart. This sweet lady, let me tell you, let's see, her name is, oh, I won't be able to pronounce it. Bev Steen, Steenhuis. Thank you, Bev. You are the sweetest thing. Sent this to me from Canada. God bless her. So I am so excited to get that one stitched. Thank you for loaning me the chart. I love this community. I love the Flosstube community. They're fabulous. Let's see, that's probably all I need to I'm already at 24 minutes, y'all. I had no idea I was going to be on here talking this long for my first Flosstube. I've got lots to show. Oh, one thing I did want to show was several Flosstubers talk about going thrifting and saving the stitching. Y'all, I've been doing that for a long time, and I love it. I found, I'm trying to get my head so that it's not in that reflection behind me, so I apologize if I've been blinding y'all. I found this sampler. It's not a sampler. I found this piece of cross stitch, and I loved the frame, I loved the glass on it, I loved the stitching, although it really doesn't go with my decor, but I wanted to save it. So this was a couple of 3 or 4 years ago. No, yeah, at least 4 years ago when I found this. Can I get it where there's no glare? Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe that way. But it's a curved piece of glass, and I love the frame. I don't think this is counted cross stitch. I think it may have been stamped, but I just thought it was so sweet. I had to save it. I think I paid $1.91 for this. I love it. So I will show more things in later videos if indeed I do make more videos, if y'all are interested in seeing it. I know there are tons of new floss tubers out there. So if y'all have made it this far, thank you for hanging with me and thank you for watching. It's been a lot of fun. It's been easier than I thought to make this video. So now that I've talked for almost a half an hour, I think I'm going to go stitch now. It's gotten me in the mood to stitch again. Well, I'm always in the mood to stitch, but I'm really chomping at the bit now this morning. So hope y'all have a great day, and I will talk with you again hopefully soon. Bye.